Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not me, or at least a clone of their voice, and welcome to the 7th episode of The Final Contingency. We're starting with a very interesting development, the discovery of a new type of alien creature. As you heard, the Knots Round engine, with Bracer at its head, found this creature and named it a space amoeba. During a routine survey of the Kulikogi system, which lies to the galactic east of our territory and south of the Iron Rings territory, the crew detected the presence of a large living mass inside one of the system's gas giants. Upon closer inspection, the mass turned out to be the space amoeba, which then left the giant's atmosphere and is now following the round engine. The creature appears able to collect gases from planets and use them to propel itself through space. How it is able to survive in space at all is not currently understood, but it appears to have taken a liking to our ship and is now following it wherever it goes. After heated debate among the crew of the round engine, it has been decided to allow the amoeba to follow us, at least until a more permanent arrangement can be determined. While leaving the system, the crew also noticed that our new friend appears to have some sort of problem with our ship's emission, as its movement becomes erratic and staggered when following in our wake. The R&D department is hard at work using scans provided by our science ship to determine what could be causing this and how we might solve the issue. After all, the crew fought hard for this creature and we wanted to have the best possible experience with us. Meanwhile, the EXO Public Relations Division is working on new frameworks for improved international cooperation among our allies, and has finally established an embassy on the homeworld of the Narlimians, who were the final country to resist our diplomatic campaign, at least the final country that was actually interested in better relations. There are still the Iron Ring and Spy X after all. After a couple of months of work, our scientists have determined what was causing our space amoeba friend trouble near our ships. Certain emissions from our reactors negatively impact the amoeba's biology, and by refraining from venting them while it is nearby, we have resolved the issue. If you thought EXO Public Relations was done, you'd better hold on to your hats. They have decided to appoint a new representative from an unlikely source, Asset Protection. Their plan is to improve Holdings' image abroad by shining a spotlight on our anti-piracy operations. And, since nobody likes pirates, this will likely succeed. They have chosen a member of Holdings' Navy named Ratcher, who previously led a small task force combating local piracy in the Sun system, to be their official EXO Public Relations Officer. They also lobbied Asset Protection to create a brand new military-grade fleet for the sole purpose of combating piracy, with Ratcher as its admiral. This is something Asset Protection, more specifically EBOTOR, wanted to do anyway, so they were happy to acquiesce. Tracker's investigation into the destruction on the relic world of Dandui 5 has yielded new insights. After uncovering a semi-intact data center deep within the planet's ruins, they were able to interface with several computers belonging to the planet's previous inhabitants, and the information recovered has answered many of our questions. Dandui 5 was apparently the capital of a mechanical civilization called the Omni. They were a mix of robots and cyborgs devoted to cataloging and or assimilating all forms of biological life they could get their actuators on. The computers also reference a mysterious galaxy galaxy-wide calamity they were attempting to survive, which, if it wasn't obvious, they failed to do. Given the evidence, it's safe to say this unnamed calamity is also what caused Dendui 5's current dilapidated state. However, in some ways, this only leaves us with more questions than answers. What was this calamity? Is it related to other disastrous events we've discovered, such as the rise of the Cybrex? And is whatever caused this disaster still a threat? Only further investigation will provide answers, and Tracker is determined to find them. A new fleet has been added to Asset Protection's roster, the Sinus Machine Fleet. Created at the behest of Exo Public Relations, its goal is to suppress and destroy piracy threats within Holding controlled and unclaimed space. Ratcher, its commander, will patrol the route between Holding's northern territories and the core. While criminal activity in that region is currently low level, it has been cutting into profits for some time and could escalate if left unchecked. At present, the fleet consists of only 3 Meteorite-class ships, which may not seem like much compared to Synchron's several dozen meteorites and asteroids, but it will be reinforced as resources become available. I'm sure Ratcher will secure some headline-worthy victories over these agents of scum and villainy. Important amoeba news. The space amoeba, following the round engine, appears to have grown up. It is now roughly the size of the science ship itself, and also seems to be more intelligent. This development has proven useful. By studying scans of the creature's sensory organs and neural structure, the crew has developed a method of encoding rudimentary instructions into electromagnetic waves that it can understand, and, incredibly enough, it follows them. Now that the creature appears to be fully grown, the crew has also decided to give it a name. While many were suggested, one clearly stood out as the best: Bubbles. With a name and instructions, Bubbles has been told to follow the Sinus Machine Fleet to boost the prestige and popular support for its mission. Creator bless you, Bubbles. May you live for 1,000 years yet. The Yalakisan Unified Nations have introduced us to their only stellar neighbor, a group, if that's the right word, calling itself the Batonaban Scavengers. Group is something of a misnomer, as they are not a nation but an organic hive mind. In short, they exist as a collective consciousness, with all organisms forming a single interconnected entity governed by a central mind. According to that mind, it harbors no hostile intentions and merely wishes to accumulate resources and expand its population. Whether it can be trusted remains to be seen, but since we do not share a border with the Batonabans, it is unlikely to be our immediate concern. That said, the hive mind has established an embassy on the Sun habitat, and we have done the same on their homeworld, ensuring diplomatic contact. However, no amount of diplomacy can prepare us for the first confirmed case of intergalactic piracy. A shipping fleet traveling from the Sun habitat to the Wayfinders was ambushed in unclaimed space by a Rakuten pirate fleet, the Rakuten being the species that comprise the Wayfinders. The fleet was destroyed, with all hands either killed or captured, and the pirates have since claimed the system for themselves. Rakuten pirate fleets have begun appearing throughout the neutral space, between and around our territory and that of the Wayfinders, effectively cutting off safe passage to and from our avian trade partners. This is unacceptable. Civilian lives must be avenged and the shipping lanes reopened. The good news is that the Sinus Machine Fleet specializes in exactly this kind of operation. The bad news is that it is currently patrolling the galactic north and is too far away to respond. Synchron, however, is close enough and is being dispatched to deal with these criminals. It's a shame Sinus cannot seize this opportunity to shine, but I'm sure there will be more chances in the future, unfortunate as that may be. In more uplifting news, our diplomatic ties with our neighbors, the Painan, have grown closer than ever with the signing of the first ever defense pact in Tradiarch history, possibly in galactic history. Under this agreement, if war is declared on Holding, the Commonwealth will come to our aid, and vice versa. However, it seems this still isn't enough for our leadership. Only hours after the pact was enacted, a press release was issued by Holding's Exo Public Relations Division with a very surprising announcement. For your and my benefit, I will relay it to you verbatim. For immediate release. Not Holding Corporation and Painan Commonwealth announced formation of Not Commonwealth Economic Zone. Sun Habitat, Holding Territory, January 9th, 2023, Not Holding Today announced the formation of a new joint supranational organization with the Painan Commonwealth, marking a significant step toward encouraging cross-border trade and strengthening mutual defense. The Federation, called the Not Commonwealth Economic Zone, will focus on trade and defense, combining Holding's expertise in economic development with the Commonwealth's strengths in territorial security. Through this collaboration, both organizations aim to increase prosperity for their citizens, while guarding against criminal and antagonistic elements. It will create a zone of extraordinary commerce and security, said Andromeda, CEO of Not Holding. This union reflects our commitment to improving our customers' lives, not only by delivering the best products on the market, but by ensuring that Tradiarchs and Pains alike can enjoy them in total safety and security. The Not Commonwealth Economic Zone will, in essence, consolidate all bilateral treaties signed by both parties into a single organization that will maintain and expand upon existing cooperation. The organization will be headquartered in a central office on the Sun habitat and staffed by personnel appointed by both Holding and the Commonwealth. Its initial objectives include establishing official currency exchanges on each member's planets, facilitating the free movement of people and capital across borders, and creating a task force to defend member borders against pirates and smugglers. Future expansion of the Federation's membership remains under consideration. The Not Commonwealth Economic Zone is yet another step in fostering cooperation and mutual aid between our two distinguished nations, said Carol Villey, Chancellor of the Painan Commonwealth. The partnership will take effect following approval by the Painan Parliament and is expected to significantly accelerate economic development in both territories. About the Not Holding Corporation. The Not Holding Corporation was established in 2198 to unite the Tradiarch's most successful corporations under a single administrative umbrella, ostensibly to facilitate better cooperation and shared infrastructure. In summary, we've created a new economic federation with the Painan. For now, this functions primarily as a military alliance with some accompanying financial benefits, but as it develops over time, our cooperation will grow deeper and more comprehensive. We also plan to invite other friendly civilizations in our vicinity, such as the Mediators and the Wayfinders. It may not seem like much yet, but under the right conditions, this could become one of the greatest driving forces in the galaxy. Alongside this new alliance, we also have some new hires joining the upper ranks of Holding's leadership. First, we have Alpus Stinksting. A Bulu you may remember as the leader of the group that traveled here in cryosleep. He has been appointed planetary manager of our operations on Alpha Centauri 4. With his strong connections to the local population and his background as a noted ecologist, he is well suited to oversee both our employees on AC4 and the planet itself. Second, we have Iha, a Tradiarch from the Public Relations Division, who will be placed in charge of the development of the Not Commonwealth Economic Zone, which I'll shorten to simply Not Commonwealth from here on for the sake of brevity. As a skilled political operator and noted socialite, they will ensure that our Federation grows in both capability and membership. Fun fact, both of these leaders have backgrounds in entrepreneurship. Isn't that neat? Tracker and the team aboard the Knots Vitality have finished their excavation of Dandui 5, the relic world we are planning to colonize. While we are no closer to learning what caused the Omni civilization's extinction, there is a silver lining. The team has uncovered an electronic device called the Omni Codex, which appears to be a repository of all the genetic material the Omni collected. As a species devoted to this pursuit, they amassed a vast variety of DNA within this small device. Not only will this prove invaluable for biological research, but it may even allow us, at considerable risk, to attempt the gestation of new clones based on the stored genetic templates. Of course, such an endeavor would be highly dubious. These beings would possess none of their predecessors' knowledge, and even minor data corruption could result in genetically unstable mutants, which is obviously not something we desire. As such, the Omnicodex will likely remain a research tool only. More importantly, with the conclusion of Tracker's investigation comes the green light to finally establish a colony on the planet. Holding is already preparing a ship to transport our employees and begin repopulating Dandui 5. Hopefully, whatever wiped out the Omni won't come for us as well. The Wayfinders have taken their first step toward joining the Not Commonwealth Economic Zone. They have accepted association status within the Federation, allowing them to officially align with us without fully joining, something that would require far more effort and commitment. Functionally, this grants them a non-aggression pact with the Not Commonwealth, but in practice, it serves as a way to lock friendly nations into our orbit, while gradually easing them toward full membership. While this may seem like a minor event in interstellar relations, it's worth noting that this is only the beginning of a much broader expansion. The Synchron Machine fleet has finally arrived in the Shidmo system to eliminate the pirate base and fleet occupying the area, the same pirates responsible for attacking our trade convoy. In short, it's time for revenge. As the battle unfolds, it quickly becomes clear that this is anything but a fair fight. The pirate force consists of a rickety asteroid base and 10 corvettes, while our fleet fields 25 ships, including 5 destroyers. Their weapons and defenses are outdated, ours are cutting edge, and that's not even considering the disparity in command ability between Admiral Ibader and some would-be pirate warlord. When the dust settles, it comes as no surprise that all hostiles are eliminated, with no friendly losses reported. Chalk this up as another decisive victory for asset protection. Despite having recently solved a major mystery with the excavation of Dandui 5, Tracker is already back at work. In the Tinvi system, north of Dandui and part of the hyperlane chain connecting our northern territories to the core, the Knots Vitality has discovered a strange space station orbiting a gas giant. The station appears to be of alien origin, but its style matches nothing we're familiar with. Instead, it is highly decorative in nature. Luxurious is the word the archaeology team keeps using, with expensive architecture, fine art, and precious metals found in every room. This is particularly strange, as there is nothing in or around the gas giant that would justify such extravagance. Tracker's team is hard at work on uncovering more information, and I'm sure we'll soon learn why this island of opulence exists in the empty void. The associations keep coming. This time the Painan have requested that association status be granted to the Narlimians. Given that they are already an ally and strategic partner, we've agreed, and another nation has been added to the Not Commonwealth's growing list list of aligned states. Remember those astral scars we discovered some time ago? Well, one of them is, quite literally, coming loose at the seams. Located in a northern system, this scar has begun leaking matter into our universe. Since these scars are theorized to be rifts in space-time, the matter emerging from them could originate from entirely different universes, or even different dimensions. This is incredibly exciting from a scientific perspective, but it could also prove disastrous. We have no way of knowing what lies on the other side of this interdimensional gateway. Hypothetically, it could release matter that reacts catastrophically with our own, perhaps even detonating with neutron star level force. For now, the scar is only leaking conventional matter and astral threads, but the rate of emission is steadily increasing. While it is technically possible to perform experiments that would force the scar open more rapidly, the physics division has elected to stick with passive observation until we understand the risks involved. In less perilous news, one of our planets is getting a new name. Alpha Centauri 4, the world settled by the Bulu and currently the only planet fully under Holdings' control, has needed a proper name for quite some time. With millions now calling it home, it deserves a title they can take pride in, and one that isn't such a mouthful. After polling the local population of Bulus and Tradiarchs alike, the name was chosen, Alpus. It makes sense. He led them here, is widely seen as the de facto leader of the Bulu, and is also the highest-ranking holding employee on the planet's surface. Henceforth, this world will officially be known as Alpus. As promised, Trekker has an update regarding the luxury station in the Tinvi system, though it raises more questions than it answers. Deep within the station's interior, the team has discovered the remains of an unknown humanoid alien species. The bodies are in late-stage decomposition, but due to the lack of atmosphere and the station's relatively young age, there is still valuable information to be recovered. Many of the bodies show damage from gunshots, blades, and blunt instruments, indicating deliberate violence. Others appear to have died from asphyxiation, likely following a catastrophic life support failure. Genetic testing has been limited so far, but the results are startling. Every individual appears to be a clone of the same organism. Even more curious, these beings closely resemble the figures depicted in many of the paintings throughout the station, suggesting it may have been constructed specifically for them, despite their shared origin. However, there are notable differences between the bodies, variations in health, development, and even severe deformities, such as reduced cranial size. Trekker's current hypothesis is that these were successive generations of cloning attempts, or the result of extensive biological experimentation aimed at producing progressively better copies of the original individual. Whatever the case, this still doesn't explain what ultimately happened to them, and the investigation is ongoing. An update on the astral situation. The physics division has found a use for the astral threads recovered from the opening scar. Apparently, they've been invaluable in studying the specifics and effects of quantum mechanics on macroscopic 3+ dimensional objects. Don't ask me to explain that, I'm just the narrator. Regardless, they've proven extremely helpful for our scientists, which is good news all around. While we're on the subject of scientific advancement, Andromeda has taken decisive action to ensure our progress continues uninterrupted. As you may recall, Holding was originally founded to promote economic development and military defense, with its R&D efforts treated as something of a side project. That's changing. Andromeda has approved a policy that directs a fixed portion of Holding's income straight into the R&D budget, formally establishing technological advancement as one of our core priorities. The shareholders aren't exactly thrilled, but given that our scientists have already provided us with a decisive edge, financially, militarily, and otherwise, they've accepted it as a fair trade for continued market dominance. From now on, we shall proudly refer to ourselves as a technocorp. That doesn't actually mean anything, I just think it sounds cool. And with that, we'll wrap things up for now. Be sure to tune in next time for another episode of The Final Contingency. Thank you very much, and goodbye.
Wow.